Feel the cool air when you open your eyes and notice the quiet before the day starts. That small moment matters more than you think. This audiobook shows clear, daily moves that change how you think, act, and feel, so that each morning pushes you closer to your goals. You will hear simple rituals to start the day with steady energy, short habits that add up over time, and ways to think through setbacks without losing progress. Expect practical steps you can use right away, a few short exercises to calm the body and sharpen attention, and honest feedback methods that build real confidence. This is not about quick tricks or empty promises. It is a plan you can use every day to protect your focus, manage your energy, and grow the skills that open new chances. You will get concrete examples, action prompts, and short checks to keep you honest and moving forward. Stay with the whole audiobook and try one small practice each day. Notice how your choices stack into visible change. By the end, you will have a clear routine you can repeat and a straightforward reason to state each morning that you will win. Chapter 13. Commit to a morning ritual that fuels unstoppable, focused action. Every day you wake up, there is a quiet moment before the world reaches you. Before the messages, before the noise, before the expectations. That moment belongs to you. It is small, but it is powerful. In that space, you decide who you are going to be. You decide how you are going to move. You decide whether you drift or whether you lead your own life. The difference between those who feel in control and those who feel overwhelmed often begins in this first hour. If you repeat every day, "I am going to win," those words must be supported by action. Winning is not an event, it is a pattern. It is built in ordinary mornings. It is built when no one is watching. It is built when your mind is still soft from sleep and your habits step forward to guide you. A morning ritual is not about being perfect. It is about being intentional. It is about starting your day in a way that gives you strength instead of stealing it. A disciplined morning is a statement to yourself. It says, "I respect my time. I respect my goals. I respect the person I am becoming." Without a ritual, you wake up and react. With a ritual, you wake up and lead. That is the difference between living by chance and living by choice. The first step is simple. Wake up at a fixed time, not when you feel like it. Not after checking your phone. Choose a time that is realistic and stick to it. Your body and mind crave rhythm. When you wake up at the same hour each day, your brain becomes clearer. Your energy stabilizes. You remove one decision from your morning, and fewer decisions mean less mental fatigue. Discipline in small things creates strength in larger things. When the alarm rings, stand up immediately. Do not negotiate. The mind is clever in the morning. It will offer comfort. It will suggest delay. But every time you hit snooze, you train yourself to delay action. Every time you stand up without argument, you train yourself to act. This small victory builds momentum. It sends a message: I move when it is time to move. After you rise, create stillness. Sit upright in a quiet space. Breathe slowly. Feel the air enter and leave your body. Notice the weight of your body on the chair or floor. This is not about complex meditation. It is about awareness. 5 to 10 minutes of calm breathing resets your nervous system. It lowers anxiety. It sharpens attention. It gives you control over your inner state before the outer world demands your attention. During this quiet time, repeat your statement with conviction. I am going to win. Say it slowly. Say it with clarity. Winning does not mean defeating others. It means mastering yourself. It means doing what you said you would do. It means choosing growth over comfort. When you repeat these words in silence, you are programming your focus. You are aligning your thoughts with your intentions. After stillness, move your body. The body and mind are not separate. If your body is sluggish, your thinking becomes slow. Simple movement is enough. Stretch your arms and legs. Do push-ups or squats. Take a brisk walk. Feel your heartbeat rise. Feel warmth spread through your muscles. Physical movement releases tension and increases alertness. It tells your brain that the day has begun and action is required. You do not need an intense workout every morning. Consistency matters more than intensity. 10 minutes every day is more powerful than 1 hour once a week. When you move daily, you build discipline. You build resilience. You build a sense of strength that carries into your work and relationships. You stand taller. You speak more clearly. You feel more capable. After movement, fuel your body wisely. Choose food that supports focus. Drink water. Dehydration reduces mental clarity and energy. Avoid starting your day with heavy sugar or mindless snacking. Your first meal sets the tone. If you choose care, you reinforce self-respect. If you choose carelessness, you weaken your standards. Winning begins with standards. Now turn to clarity. Take a notebook and write down your top 3 priorities for the day. Not 10. Not a long list. 3. These should be actions that move your life forward. They should matter. They should connect to your larger goals. Writing them down makes them real. It forces you to decide what is important. It prevents your day from being hijacked by small distractions. Ask yourself one question: if I complete these 3 tasks today, will I move closer to the person I want to become? If the answer is no, adjust them. This is how you build focused action. You do not chase everything. You choose deliberately. Once your priorities are clear, visualize completing them. See yourself working with focus. See yourself finishing. Feel the satisfaction. Visualization is not fantasy. It prepares your mind for action. When you mentally rehearse success, you reduce hesitation. You increase confidence. You train your brain to recognize the path forward. Now comes the most important part. Begin the hardest task first. Do not check social media. Do not open random messages. Start with what requires courage and concentration. This is where unstoppable action is built. When you face the difficult task early, you prove that you are stronger than resistance. You build momentum. Momentum reduces doubt. There will be mornings when you feel tired. There will be days when motivation is low. This is where discipline matters. A ritual is not based on mood. It is based on commitment. Even if you shorten it, do not skip it. 5 minutes of breathing is better than none. A short stretch is better than staying in bed. A small step maintains identity. You are someone who shows up. You may wonder how long this ritual should take. It does not need to consume your morning. 30 to 60 minutes is enough for most people. The key is consistency. The ritual must fit your life. It must be sustainable. Extreme routines that collapse after a week do not build strength. Simple routines repeated daily change your identity. Your environment also matters. Prepare the night before. Place your notebook on your desk. Lay out your exercise clothes. Set your water bottle where you can see it. Reduce friction. The fewer obstacles in your path, the easier it is to act. Discipline is not only willpower. It is design. Shape your environment so that good choices are natural. Guard your morning from noise. Avoid checking your phone for at least the first 30 minutes. Notifications pull your attention outward. They create reaction instead of direction. When you begin the day responding to others, you lose control. When you begin with your own priorities, you build power. Protect your focus like it is valuable, because it is. Some mornings will feel quiet and strong. Others will feel restless. Thoughts may wander. Doubts may appear. This is normal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is return. Each time your mind drifts, bring it back. Each time you feel resistance, act anyway. This practice strengthens your inner authority. You become less controlled by impulse and more guided by principle. A morning ritual also shapes your emotional state. If you wake up and immediately rush, stress becomes your default. If you wake up and create calm, clarity becomes your default. Your emotional state influences your decisions. Calm thinking leads to better choices. Better choices lead to better outcomes. The ritual is the foundation. Winning requires energy. Energy requires management. A consistent sleep schedule supports your morning power. Go to bed at a reasonable hour. Reduce screen time before sleep. Create a dark and quiet space. Quality sleep makes waking easier. It sharpens thinking. It strengthens discipline. The night prepares the morning. As days pass, you will notice change. You will feel less scattered. You will feel more in control. Tasks that once felt heavy will feel manageable. This is not magic. It is repetition. Small daily actions compound. Your identity shifts slowly but surely. You begin to see yourself as disciplined. You begin to trust yourself. Trust is powerful. When you keep promises to yourself in the morning, you build self-respect. Self-respect reduces procrastination. It reduces self-doubt. You stop questioning whether you will act. You know you will. That confidence carries into meetings, conversations, and challenges. It changes how others perceive you. It changes how you perceive yourself. There will be moments when life disrupts your routine. Travel, illness, emergencies. Adapt without abandoning your standards. If you cannot complete the full ritual, complete a simplified version. 2 minutes of breathing, a short walk, a quick review of priorities. The structure may shrink, but the commitment remains. This flexibility keeps your identity intact. The phrase, "I am going to win," becomes more than words when it is backed by action. Winning means acting when it is easier to delay. It means thinking clearly when emotions rise. It means choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. The morning is your training ground. It prepares you for the tests of the day. When challenges appear later, you will remember that you already won once. You woke up on time. You moved your body. You focused on what matters. You completed your hardest task. These early victories create resilience. They remind you that you can handle discomfort. They remind you that progress is built step by step. Over time, your ritual becomes part of who you are. It is not something you force. It is something you expect. The mind becomes calmer in the morning. The body responds more easily. The notebook fills with completed priorities. Your life moves forward steadily. Understand this clearly. Success is not built in dramatic moments. It is built in quiet discipline. It is built in the choice to rise when the alarm rings. It is built in 10 minutes of breathing. It is built in focused work before distractions. These actions seem small, but they shape your direction. You do not need perfect circumstances to begin. You need commitment. Start tomorrow. Choose a wake-up time. Set your alarm. Prepare your space. Decide your 3 priorities tonight. Remove distractions from your morning. Go to bed with intention. When the morning comes, stand up, breathe deeply, move your body, drink water, write your priorities, visualize success, begin your hardest task, repeat your statement with conviction. I am going to win. Winning is not loud, it is steady. It is quiet confidence. It is daily effort. It is refusing to be controlled by comfort. It is taking responsibility for your time and energy. When you build a morning ritual that fuels focused action, you are not only improving your day, you are transforming your life. The world does not decide your direction. Your habits do. Your mornings do. The first hour shapes the next 12. The next 12 shape your future. Choose to lead. Choose to act. Choose to win. Each sunrise is an invitation, not to drift, not to complain, not to wait. It is an invitation to rise with strength and clarity. It is a chance to build the person you intend to become. Take it seriously. Guard it fiercely. Repeat your commitment daily. You are not chasing motivation. You are building discipline. You are not waiting for inspiration. You are creating structure. You are not hoping for change. You are designing it. Every morning is proof that you have another opportunity. Stand up with purpose. Sit in stillness with strength. Move with intention. Focus with clarity. Act with courage. End the day knowing you kept your word to yourself. Then rest knowing you will rise again. Say it with certainty. I am going to win, and then prove it in the first hour of your day. Chapter 20. Build small daily habits that compound into massive wins. Success rarely arrives in a dramatic moment. It grows quietly through small actions repeated with care. When you decide that you are going to win, you are not making a promise about one grand achievement. You are making a commitment to daily behavior. The real power is not in intensity. It is in consistency. A single strong effort may impress others, but steady habits reshape your character and your future. Think about the direction of your life. It is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It is shaped by what you do every day without fail. Small habits feel harmless. They seem too simple to matter. Yet they are either building you or slowly weakening you. There is no neutral action. Each day you are either moving forward or drifting backward. The mind often seeks big changes. It wants fast results. It wants visible proof. But growth does not respond well to impatience. Growth responds to discipline. A small habit done daily becomes part of your identity. Once it becomes identity, it no longer feels forced. It becomes natural. That is when progress accelerates. Begin by choosing one area of your life that truly matters. It may be your health, your focus, your finances, your skills, or your relationships. Do not try to improve everything at once. Scattered effort leads to frustration. Select one area and define one simple action that supports it. If health is your focus, it may be a 20-minute walk each day. If learning is your focus, it may be reading 10 pages daily. If financial stability is your focus, it may be tracking every expense without exception. Make the action small enough that you cannot reasonably refuse it. The purpose is not to test your limits. The purpose is to build reliability. When the action feels manageable, resistance decreases. When resistance decreases, completion becomes likely. Completion builds trust in yourself. Schedule the habit at a fixed time. Habits grow stronger when they are connected to a routine. If you decide to read, choose a consistent hour. If you decide to exercise, attach it to a moment that already exists in your day. For example, walk immediately after work or stretch immediately after waking. This connection creates structure. Structure reduces excuses. Do not depend on mood. Some days you will feel energetic. Other days you will feel tired or distracted. Your habit must survive both conditions. Discipline means acting even when enthusiasm is low. The strength of a habit is measured by how well it survives inconvenience. Track your behavior. Use a simple calendar or notebook. Mark each day you complete your action. This visible record creates accountability. When you see a chain of completed days, you will feel motivated to protect it. The record becomes evidence of your commitment. It becomes proof that you are not waiting for change. You are creating it. Understand that small habits gain power through accumulation. One day of reading does not transform your knowledge. One day of saving money does not create wealth. One day of practice does not build mastery. But 1 year of daily effort changes everything. The results compound. Skills deepen. Confidence grows. Opportunities expand. The mind may question whether small actions are enough. Doubt may whisper that you need more dramatic effort. Remind yourself that sustainable progress always begins modestly. A stable foundation supports greater effort later. When your small habit becomes automatic, you can increase intensity if needed, but never increase complexity before you have secured consistency. Be patient with visible results. Early stages may feel slow. You may not notice major differences in the first weeks. Do not mistake quiet progress for failure. Many processes work beneath the surface before showing visible change. Your task is to remain steady. The outcome will follow. Protect your habit from disruption. Identify common obstacles in advance. If fatigue is a challenge, prepare by adjusting your sleep schedule. If distractions interfere, create a quiet environment. If time feels limited, wake up slightly earlier or reduce unnecessary activities. Winning requires planning. It requires removing avoidable barriers. Accept that perfection is not required. Missing a single day does not erase progress. What matters is your response. Do not allow one missed action to become 2 or 3. Resume immediately. The faster you return, the stronger your discipline becomes. Resilience is built in recovery. As your small habit becomes stable, notice how it affects your thinking. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through. That self-image influences other behaviors. When you consistently complete one commitment, you feel capable of handling larger ones. Confidence grows from evidence, not from empty affirmation. Apply this principle across areas of life, but introduce changes gradually. Once your first habit feels natural, add another small action. If you walk daily, add a short strength routine twice a week. If you read daily, add 5 minutes of note-taking. If you track expenses, add a weekly review. Layer habits carefully. Avoid overwhelming yourself. Remember that discipline is a form of self-respect. Each time you complete your habit, you confirm that your goals matter. You are telling yourself that growth is not optional. It is a priority. This internal message strengthens your character. There will be periods when progress feels slow. During these times, focus on the process rather than the outcome. Ask yourself whether you completed the habit today. If the answer is yes, you are on the right path. Results often arrive after long periods of steady work. Many people quit just before meaningful change appears. Consider the long-term effect. Imagine reading 10 pages daily for 5 years. Imagine saving a small portion of income consistently. Imagine practicing a skill every evening without fail. The cumulative impact becomes enormous. What seems small in a day becomes powerful over time. Guard against comparison. Your path is unique. Some people may appear to advance quickly. Their pace is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is daily improvement. Measure yourself against your past performance. Ask whether you are better than you were last month. That is the only comparison that matters. Simplicity is strength. Complicated systems often fail. Keep your habits clear and specific. Exercise more is vague. Walk 20 minutes at 6 in the evening is precise. Clarity removes confusion. Precision increases action. Emotional resistance will arise at times. You may feel boredom. You may feel frustration. Recognize these emotions without giving them control. Habits are not always exciting. They are often quiet and repetitive. Accept this reality. Mastery requires repetition. Growth requires repetition. Link your habit to a deeper purpose. If you are studying daily, remind yourself why knowledge matters to you. If you are training physically, connect it to your desire for strength and longevity. Purpose strengthens persistence. When your action serves a meaningful goal, endurance increases. At the end of each week, review your progress. Notice patterns. Identify moments when you felt strong and moments when you felt weak. Adjust your approach if necessary. Continuous refinement keeps your system effective. Improvement is not only about action. It is also about reflection. Be honest with yourself. If a habit is too demanding, reduce it. If it feels too easy and you are bored, increase it slightly. Balance is essential. The habit must challenge you enough to create growth, but not so much that it collapses under pressure. Surround yourself with cues that reinforce your commitment. Keep books visible if reading is your habit. Keep healthy food accessible if nutrition is your focus. Environment influences behavior more than willpower alone. Design your surroundings to support your goals. When setbacks occur, maintain perspective. A difficult week does not define you. A busy period does not cancel your identity. Return to your small actions as soon as possible. Stability comes from returning, not from never stumbling. Over time, you will experience a shift. What once required effort will feel automatic. You will no longer debate whether to act. You will simply act. This is the power of habit. It reduces mental strain. It frees energy for larger challenges. Winning becomes a natural consequence of daily discipline. You do not need constant excitement. You need consistency. You do not need dramatic change overnight. You need steady improvement each day. Massive wins are built from ordinary actions performed faithfully. Look at your life honestly. Identify one small action that aligns with the person you want to become. Commit to it today. Keep it simple. Keep it clear. Keep it daily. Track it. Protect it. Refine it. Allow time to work in your favor. Repeat to yourself each morning that you are going to win, then prove it with small behavior. When days become weeks and weeks become months, you will see undeniable evidence of progress. Your skills will sharpen. Your body will strengthen. Your finances will stabilize. Your confidence will deepen. Small habits shape destiny. They require patience and courage. They demand discipline and honesty, but they reward you with steady growth and lasting change. The choice is simple. You can wait for a breakthrough, or you can build it quietly through daily action. Choose to build it. Choose small steps. Choose repetition. Choose to trust the process. Over time, the results will speak clearly. You will not need to announce your progress. It will show in your posture, your work, your decisions, and your calm confidence. Massive wins are not accidents. They are the outcome of daily commitment. Continue moving forward one habit at a time. Chapter 3: Practice resilient thinking. When setbacks challenge your confident forward progress, there will be days when your plans fall apart without warning. You will prepare carefully, act with focus, and still face rejection, delay, or loss. In those moments, your first battle is not with the situation in front of you. It is with your own thoughts. Setbacks test your mindset before they test your ability. If your thinking collapses, your progress collapses with it. If your thinking stays steady, you remain in control even when circumstances are unstable. Resilient thinking is not blind optimism. It is not pretending that pain does not exist. It is the disciplined choice to interpret events in a way that protects your strength. You cannot always control what happens. You can always influence how you respond. This is where real power lies. When a setback occurs, pause before reacting. Notice the physical sensation in your body. Your chest may tighten, your jaw may clench, your breathing may become shallow. These are signals that emotion is rising. Do not rush to speak or decide. Take several slow breaths. Allow your body to settle. This brief pause prevents regret. It keeps you from turning one problem into several. After you regain calm, examine your thoughts. Ask yourself what story you are telling about this event. Are you saying that you failed because you are not capable? Are you telling yourself that progress is impossible? These interpretations are often automatic, but they are rarely accurate. They are emotional reactions, not objective facts. Replace exaggeration with clarity. Instead of thinking, everything is ruined, say, this specific plan did not work. Instead of saying, I am not good enough, say, I need to improve this skill. Clear language protects your confidence. It narrows the problem to its true size. When the problem is specific, it becomes manageable. Separate your identity from the outcome. A result does not define your worth. A mistake does not cancel your potential. When you attach your identity to success alone, failure becomes unbearable. When you understand that you are a person in progress, setbacks become information rather than condemnation. Resilient thinking requires ownership. Avoid blaming other people or external conditions for everything that goes wrong. Even when others contribute to the problem, focus on what you can control. Ask, what can I learn from this? And, what can I adjust next time? This approach keeps you active rather than passive. It shifts you from victim to participant. It is also important to accept reality without resistance. Denying a setback wastes energy. Complaining about it extends frustration. Acceptance does not mean approval. It means acknowledging facts as they are. Once you accept what has happened, you can redirect your energy toward improvement instead of resentment. There will be moments when discouragement feels heavy. In those moments, shrink your focus. Instead of worrying about the entire journey, concentrate on the next step. What is the smallest constructive action you can take right now? It may be sending one email, reviewing one document, or practicing one skill. Movement reduces despair. Action restores a sense of agency. Guard your inner dialogue carefully. The words you repeat to yourself shape your emotional state. If you constantly criticize yourself after mistakes, your confidence will weaken. Replace harsh judgment with disciplined encouragement. Tell yourself the truth without cruelty. You can acknowledge error while maintaining respect for yourself. Build a habit of reflection at the end of difficult days. Sit quietly and review what happened. Identify what was within your control and what was not. Recognize where you responded well and where you reacted poorly. This honest review strengthens awareness. Awareness leads to improvement. Improvement restores confidence. Surround yourself with reminders of your past resilience. Recall challenges you have already overcome. Write them down if necessary. When the mind claims that you cannot recover, present evidence from your own life that proves otherwise. Memory can be a powerful ally when used wisely. Limit exposure to voices that increase negativity. When you are already facing difficulty, constant pessimism from others can weaken your resolve. Seek conversations that are grounded and constructive. Spend time with people who value growth and responsibility. Their perspective will reinforce your own. Resilient thinking also requires patience. Some setbacks do not resolve quickly. You may need weeks or months to rebuild. During this time, maintain steady effort. Avoid dramatic reactions. Avoid abandoning your goals entirely. Continue working in small, consistent steps. Stability during uncertainty builds inner strength. Do not measure your entire future based on a single event. The mind often predicts permanent failure after temporary difficulty. Challenge this assumption. Ask yourself whether this setback will matter in 5 years. Often the answer is no. This perspective reduces intensity and restores balance. Take care of your physical state during stressful periods. Fatigue amplifies negative thinking. Hunger increases irritability. Lack of movement reduces clarity. Maintain regular sleep, nourishment, and physical activity. A stable body supports a stable mind. Practice mental rehearsal for future challenges. Imagine facing obstacles calmly and responding with focus. Visualize yourself listening carefully, thinking clearly, and adjusting intelligently. This preparation reduces fear when real challenges appear. It trains your brain to expect resilience instead of panic. Understand that progress is rarely linear. There will be peaks and valleys. Growth includes correction. Correction includes discomfort. When you accept this pattern, setbacks lose their power to shock you. They become part of the process rather than signs of defeat. If you experience repeated failure in a specific area, examine your strategy rather than your worth. Seek feedback from knowledgeable people. Study your approach objectively. Make adjustments based on evidence. Improvement is practical. It requires observation and refinement. Maintain perspective about time. Immediate results are not always realistic. Some goals require extended effort before visible success appears. When a setback delays your progress, it does not erase your work. It simply extends the timeline. Patience combined with persistence eventually produces results. Avoid isolating yourself completely when discouraged. While quiet reflection is valuable, complete withdrawal can deepen negative thinking. Maintain contact with supportive individuals. Share your challenges honestly without exaggeration. Balanced conversation often reveals solutions that emotion hides. Commit to learning something from every setback. Even painful experiences contain lessons about preparation, communication, or judgment. When you extract value from difficulty, you transform it into growth. Nothing is wasted when it teaches you something useful. Keep your standards intact even during hardship. Continue to act with integrity. Continue to respect your responsibilities. Do not allow frustration to justify poor behavior. Character is tested most clearly when circumstances are unfavorable. Remind yourself that discomfort is not danger. The mind sometimes reacts to embarrassment or rejection as if survival is threatened. Recognize that most setbacks are temporary and non-lethal. This awareness reduces panic and supports rational thinking. Write down a clear statement of your long-term purpose. Read it during moments of doubt. Connecting your daily struggles to a larger goal restores meaning. When you know why you are working, temporary obstacles feel less overwhelming. Train yourself to ask constructive questions. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" ask, "What can I improve?" Instead of asking, "What if I fail again?" ask, "What skill will reduce that risk?" Questions guide attention. Choose ones that lead to growth. Accept that emotional pain may still appear despite disciplined thinking. Resilience does not eliminate feeling. It manages response. Allow yourself to feel disappointment without surrendering to it. Emotions rise and fall. Your principles remain steady. Over time, practicing resilient thinking changes your baseline reaction. Situations that once triggered panic will trigger analysis. Problems that once felt catastrophic will feel manageable. This shift builds quiet confidence. You begin to trust your ability to navigate uncertainty. When forward progress is challenged, do not interpret it as a signal to retreat permanently. See it as a call to strengthen your strategy. Every obstacle contains information about where improvement is required. Use that information wisely. Your commitment to winning is not tested when everything goes smoothly. It is tested when circumstances oppose you. Winning in those moments means staying composed, thinking clearly, and acting deliberately. It means protecting your mindset from unnecessary damage. Resilient thinking is a daily practice. It grows through repetition. Each time you respond calmly to difficulty, you reinforce the habit. Each time you adjust instead of quitting, you strengthen your resolve. Continue moving forward with steady determination. Obstacles will appear, but they do not define your path unless you allow them to. Guard your thoughts. Choose clarity over chaos. Choose responsibility over blame. Choose patience over panic. When setbacks challenge your confident progress, stand firm in your principles. Breathe. Think carefully. Act wisely. This is how you remain in control. This is how you transform difficulty into strength. This is how you continue advancing, regardless of circumstance. Chapter 4. Master focused priorities that drive consistent, measurable, meaningful results. Your time is limited whether you admit it or not. Every day gives you a fixed number of hours, and once they pass, they never return. The question is not whether you are busy. The question is whether your effort is aimed at what truly matters. Many people work hard and still feel stuck because their attention is scattered. Activity without direction creates exhaustion without achievement. If you are serious about winning, you must learn to master focused priorities that produce results you can see and measure. Clarity begins with deciding what truly deserves your energy. Not everything that demands attention deserves commitment. Messages, requests, minor tasks, and sudden opportunities can easily fill your day. If you allow them to dictate your schedule, your important goals will always remain unfinished. Focused priorities require courage because they force you to say no to distractions that seem urgent but add little value. Start by identifying your primary objective for this season of your life. Not 10 objectives, not vague wishes. 1 or 2 meaningful targets that align with your long-term direction. Perhaps you want to increase your income, complete a qualification, improve your physical strength, or build a disciplined routine. Choose what genuinely moves your life forward. Without this decision, focus is impossible. Once you define your objective, translate it into measurable outcomes. If your aim is to increase income, decide by how much and by when. If your aim is to improve fitness, define the standard you want to reach. Numbers create accountability. Clear metrics prevent self-deception. When you measure progress, you remove guesswork and replace it with evidence. After establishing measurable goals, break them into weekly targets. Large ambitions can feel overwhelming if viewed as a single block. When divided into smaller parts, they become manageable. For example, if you want to complete a certification within 6 months, calculate how many chapters or modules must be finished each week. If you want to save a specific amount of money, divide it into consistent weekly contributions. This structure creates steady movement. Now examine your daily schedule honestly. Notice how much time is spent on activities that do not contribute to your defined objectives. Track your hours for several days. Write down how long you spend on entertainment, social media, unnecessary browsing, or idle conversation. This awareness is uncomfortable but essential. You cannot master focus if you refuse to confront reality. Eliminate or reduce low-value activities. This does not mean removing all rest or enjoyment. It means setting boundaries. Allocate specific time for leisure rather than allowing it to consume random hours. When entertainment has limits, productivity increases. Discipline in time management protects your priorities. Each morning, select a small number of tasks that directly support your measurable goals. Limit this list. When everything is labeled important, nothing truly is. Choose the actions that create the highest impact. Complete them before turning to minor responsibilities. This order ensures that your energy is invested wisely. Concentration requires protection. Create blocks of uninterrupted work time. During these periods, silence notifications, close unrelated tabs, and inform others that you are not available. Deep work produces quality results in less time. Constant interruption weakens output and increases frustration. Treat your focus as a valuable resource. You may notice resistance when beginning difficult tasks. The mind prefers comfort and quick rewards. Recognize this impulse without obeying it. Remind yourself that long-term success depends on short-term discipline. Sit down and begin even if motivation feels low. Momentum often appears after action starts. Track your progress regularly. At the end of each week, review what you accomplished. Compare it to your planned targets. If you fell short, analyze the reason without harsh judgment. Did you underestimate the time required? Did distractions interfere? Did you avoid challenging tasks? Honest evaluation leads to adjustment. Adjustment leads to improvement. Celebrate measurable progress quietly. When you complete a weekly milestone, acknowledge it. Write it down. Reflect on how consistent effort is producing tangible results. Recognition strengthens commitment. It reminds you that discipline is effective. Guard against the temptation to chase every new opportunity. When something new appears, evaluate it against your current priorities. Ask whether it aligns with your main objective. If it does not, consider postponing it. Divided attention slows advancement. Concentrated effort accelerates it. Learn to distinguish between urgent and important. Urgent tasks demand immediate response, but may not contribute to long-term goals. Important tasks build your future, but may not feel pressing. Train yourself to prioritize importance over urgency whenever possible. This habit separates productive individuals from perpetually busy ones. Simplify your commitments. If your schedule is overloaded, reduce obligations that do not align with your mission. Overcommitment drains focus and weakens quality. By narrowing your responsibilities, you increase excellence in what remains. Develop a clear system for tracking metrics. If you are building a business, monitor revenue, client acquisition, and productivity hours. If you are improving fitness, record workouts, nutrition, and recovery. Data reveals patterns. Patterns reveal strengths and weaknesses. Without measurement, progress remains uncertain. Protect your mental energy as carefully as your time. Constant comparison to others can disrupt focus. When you compare your pace to someone else's highlight moments, you risk discouragement. Concentrate on your path. Evaluate yourself based on your own defined metrics. When unexpected events disrupt your schedule, adjust strategically rather than abandoning your plan. Relocate time. Reschedule important tasks. Maintain commitment even when circumstances shift. Flexibility combined with determination keeps progress steady. Recognize that meaningful results require patience. Immediate gratification often conflicts with significant achievement. Accept that disciplined effort may feel repetitive. The reward lies in accumulation. Small completed tasks compound into substantial outcomes. Ask yourself regularly whether your daily actions reflect your stated priorities. If there is a gap between intention and behavior, close it quickly. Do not wait for a new month or a new year. Correction should be immediate. This responsiveness strengthens self-trust. Learn to end your workday with review and preparation. Evaluate what was completed and what remains. Plan the next day's top priorities before resting. This habit reduces morning confusion and increases clarity. Preparedness improves efficiency. Be mindful of your physical state during focused work. Maintain posture, hydration, and short breaks to sustain concentration. Fatigue reduces precision. Structured pauses refresh attention without derailing productivity. Seek feedback from trusted mentors or colleagues. External perspective can reveal blind spots. When constructive criticism appears, receive it with maturity. Adjust your methods if necessary. Growth depends on willingness to refine. Avoid multitasking when working on significant objectives. Splitting attention weakens quality and extends completion time. Commit fully to one task at a time. Finish it with excellence before shifting to another responsibility. As weeks turn into months, you will notice measurable change. Income increases. Skills sharpen. Strength improves. Projects advance. These outcomes are not random. They are the result of disciplined focus applied consistently. Your confidence will grow as evidence accumulates. You will trust your ability to set a target and reach it. This trust fuels larger ambitions. Each completed milestone expands your belief in what is possible. Continue refining your priorities as circumstances evolve. What was essential last year may not be central now. Reevaluate periodically to ensure alignment with your long-term vision. Adaptation maintains relevance. Understand that mastery of focused priorities is an ongoing practice. It demands vigilance. Distractions will continue to appear. Opportunities will tempt you. Fatigue will test you. Through each challenge, return to your defined objectives and measurable standards. Winning is not achieved by doing everything. It is achieved by doing the right things with depth and persistence. When your actions align with clear priorities, progress becomes visible. Results become measurable. Effort becomes meaningful. Stand firm in your commitment to disciplined focus. Choose what matters most. Measure your advancement. Adjust when needed. Protect your attention. In doing so, you create consistent, tangible growth that speaks for itself. Chapter 50. Cultivate disciplined self-care to sustain high-level daily performance. Caring for yourself with discipline is not indulgence, it is strategy for sustained effectiveness and unequaled resilience. Treating self-care as optional leaves performance to chance. Treating it as non-negotiable creates steady capacity to handle pressure and produce meaningful work. The frame to adopt is simple. You are building an operating system for a high-functioning life, and that system needs predictable routines, repair cycles, and safeguards. Start with sleep because every other system depends on it. Create a consistent bedtime and wake time that you can maintain most days. When sleep is regular, cognitive clarity and emotional balance improve naturally. Remove screens an hour before rest and dim lights to cue your body for sleep. If your mind races, use a short ritual to unload thoughts onto paper, then close the notebook. Prioritize total sleep hours over chasing late nights for social reasons, and if naps help, keep them brief and planned. Nutrition is fuel, not a reward. Stabilize energy by balancing protein, healthy fats, and vegetables at main meals. Pay attention to portion size and avoid heavy meals late at night that compromise sleep. Hydration matters more than most realize. Carry water and drink before you feel thirsty. Simple changes like including a protein source at breakfast and reducing refined sugar during the day will reduce energy crashes and sharpen focus. Move daily, but make the movement useful. Choose practices that improve posture, mobility, and strength rather than only burning calories. A routine of focused mobility work and a modest strength session 3 times a week will reduce injury risk and increase energy. If time is limited, prioritize short, intense sessions or even 10-minute micro workouts spread through the day. Movement breaks also refresh attention and prevent mental fatigue. Recovery is active, not passive. Scheduling rest days when training intensity is high protects progress. Incorporate slow walk, stretching, and breathing exercises after intense effort. Use a short wind-down ritual before bed to slow the nervous system, such as progressive muscle relaxation or controlled breathing, which lowers cortisol and improves sleep quality. Track how your body responds and adjust rest frequency based on energy trends. Structure your calendar to include deliberate energy blocks. Identify times of day when concentration is strongest and reserve them for high-value tasks. Use lower energy windows for administrative work or routine errands. Planning work around natural rhythms increases output and reduces the need for willpower. Protect those blocks ruthlessly and communicate them to people who need to know. Boundary setting is a core self-care skill. Learn to say no without guilt when requests undermine your priorities or recovery. Practically define availability windows and use them consistently. Turn off notifications during focus time and create rules for communication evenings and weekends if your work allows it. Protecting your attention is identical to protecting your health because scattered attention causes cognitive depletion. Design your environment to support sustainable habits. Keep sleep spaces reserved for rest. Remove work clutter from the bedroom and keep nourishing foods visible while hiding tempting junk. Create a standing place for hydration and a simple kit for brief workouts so barriers to action are lower. Clutter creates friction both mentally and physically, so reduce it where it matters most. Mind care is as concrete as body care. Practice short daily mental hygiene exercises such as a 5-minute gratitude list or a 2-minute reflection on what was handled well today. Use targeted journaling to convert confusing feelings into decisions and to convert worries into specific next steps. If intrusive anxiety persists, adopt a grounding practice like naming 5 things you see, 4 things you feel, and 3 things you hear until the moment passes. Social health influences performance. Invest in relationships that energize and in ones that hold you accountable. Schedule regular conversations with people who encourage growth and who demonstrate consistent presence. Distance from chronically draining individuals is a form of maintenance, not punishment. Quality relationships provide emotional buffers during periods of high demand. Medical and preventive care are not optional extras. Regular checkups, screening tests, and basic blood work provide information that prevents decline and saves time later. If possible, establish a relationship with a primary care provider and address persistent symptoms early. Prioritize dental, vision, and hearing checks because small untreated issues often grow into significant obstacles. Create micro-rituals that maintain equilibrium during intense periods. Short walks between meetings, deliberate breathing for 3 minutes before a task, and a 2-minute face wash to refresh and reset can break cumulative stress. These small rituals are repeatable and do not require preparation, but they interrupt stress cycles and restore focus. Plan recovery into long projects. Break demanding work into phases and schedule explicit recovery windows after each phase. Celebrate completion with a restful activity rather than a high-stimulation reward that undermines future performance. That might mean a day without screens, a nature walk, or an extended stretch session. Reward that restores capacity reinforces sustainable momentum. Nutrition for the brain deserves special attention. Include sources of omega-3 fatty acids, antioxidants, and a variety of vegetables to support cognitive resilience. Consider timed caffeine use that complements rather than sabotages sleep. Use caffeine early in the day and taper use as evening approaches, while avoiding a late afternoon top-up that disrupts rest. Learn to read your energy scale and respond appropriately. Keep a simple daily log for a week marking energy levels, mood, and focus times of day. Patterns emerge quickly and reveal realistic plans for scheduling work and rest. Use that data to experiment with small adjustments, such as shifting meeting times or adding a post-lunch walk to stimulate afternoon clarity. Reduce decision fatigue by externalizing routine choices. Use meal planning, set outfit combinations for the week, and standardize morning sequences. The fewer trivial choices each day, the more mental bandwidth available for important decisions. Establish simple rules for eating, sleeping, and exercise that require minimal judgment, while still allowing flexibility for special occasions. Set non-negotiable recovery rituals that occur regardless of workload. This might include a 20-minute evening wind down, at minimum 2 days of lighter activity per week, and a full restorative day every month. Non-negotiable routines anchor your schedule and protect long-term output. When stress accumulates, practice brief cognitive reframing to shift perspective. Acknowledging stress as a temporary signal rather than a constant state reintroduces control. Ask what practical step will reduce the load right now, and then perform that step. Immediate action reduces tension and restores clarity. Physical checks like posture correction, breathing quality, and hydration are simple, fast wins when energy wanes. Stand tall, take 10 deep diaphragmatic breaths, and drink a full glass of water to signal the body to shift state. These inexpensive actions produce measurable shifts in alertness and mood. If sleep issues are persistent, investigate sleep hygiene deeper and seek professional support when necessary. Chronic poor sleep is not a sign of moral failing, it is a medical and behavioral issue that deserves attention. Address it with the same seriousness you would a recurring injury. Practice digital hygiene intentionally. Create specific windows for social media checking and email processing, and then close those apps. Use the tools in your devices to limit distracting applications and consider scheduling phone-free hours. Reducing compulsive checking restores attention to meaningful tasks. Regular movement for creativity should be non-negotiable. Walking stimulates problem-solving and often produces clarity more effectively than sitting at a desk. Use a walk to process decisions, prepare for a conversation, or review priorities. Movement combined with reflection accelerates insight. Nourish curiosity and playful engagement outside of work. Hobbies that require skill and deliberate practice enrich life and prevent burnout. Schedule small, consistent time for non-work activities that bring joy, whether it is music, reading, cooking, or learning a new craft. Prepare for tough seasons by building reserves. Financial flexibility and social supports reduce stress when demands increase. Having a modest emergency fund, clear, simple plans, and a small network you can rely on reduces the intensity of crises and makes recovery faster. Make recovery measurable. Track sleep quality, energy levels, mood, and performance. If a pattern shows decline, respond quickly with practical steps such as additional rest, adjusting workload, or seeking professional help. Early correction prevents deep problems. Treat self-care as an act of responsibility, not permission. Your ability to serve others, to create, and to sustain effort depends on your willingness to maintain basic systems and not to abuse them. Discipline in rest, nutrition, movement, and relationships is the backbone of long-term achievement. Finally, practice humility and patience with the process. Improvement in capacity does not always follow linear timelines, but steady attention to disciplined self-care compounds into greater endurance, clarity, and impact. Keep the systems simple, repeat them often, and protect them fiercely, because consistent care produces durable performance and a life that is sustainable and meaningful. Chapter 60. Visualize clear goals each morning to align action with purpose. Each morning offers a chance to make choice visible and to steer the day with intention rather than drift into reaction. Visualizing clear goals is a practical discipline that prepares the mind to notice opportunity, to reject distraction, and to move with purpose. This practice is not about wishful thinking. It is about creating a mental map that your attention can follow and your hands can execute. Begin by opening a quiet minute immediately after rising, and before any external demands arrive. Close the eyes and picture one meaningful outcome you intend to finish before the day ends. Make that outcome specific and measurable. Instead of imagining a vague success picture, completing a particular task, finishing a section of work, or holding a focused conversation with a named person, specificity turns a distant idea into an actionable target. Make the visualization sensory rich. See the space where the work happens, feel the weight of the keyboard or the texture of the paper, hear the sound of your steady breathing, and notice the light in the room. Sensory detail trains the brain in a different way than abstract thoughts alone. When the mind practices clarity through senses, the body follows more readily and habits form faster. Include a brief rehearsal of obstacles and responses. Imagine one common interruption and visualize handling it calmly. Picture answering the call with a brief deferment statement or closing a browser tab without anger. Preparing for friction ahead of time reduces surprise and keeps momentum intact. This is not an exercise in pessimism. It is a practical plan to remain effective when things do not go perfectly. Write down the single most important result for the day in a simple sentence on a small card or in a notebook. Keep this statement short and phrase it as a completed action. The act of committing thoughts to paper translates intention into a promise that the mind recognizes as binding. When the list is concise, it fits memory more easily and it guides decisions through the day. Link the morning visualization to a tangible first action that can be completed within 30 minutes. Begin with a behavior that creates immediate forward motion rather than one that requires long preparation. A short, focused start reduces the chance of procrastination and makes the rest of the day follow the momentum of completion. Early wins change how the rest of the day unfolds. Use timers to support concentration. After setting the day's result mentally, block a fixed period of undisturbed work to move toward it. A 25 to 60-minute block of focused effort, followed by a short physical reset, keeps attention high without burning out the nervous system. Repeat blocks until the day's primary task is finished or the scheduled portion is complete. Adopt language that frames goals as commitments to action. Replace vague plans, such as "I will try to," with precise promises like "I will complete Chapter 2 by 3 p.m. Contracting with oneself in this way reduces ambiguity and forces planning. The brain responds to precise commitments by allocating attention more efficiently. Visualize not only success but the exact steps required to reach it. Break each goal into 2 or 3 specific actions so that the path forward is visible. Complex tasks become manageable when the next concrete move is known. This reduces the anxiety that appears when a project seems too large to begin. Place physical reminders where they will be seen without creating clutter. A single card on the desk, a short phrase taped to a mirror, or a locked screensaver message can redirect attention back to what matters during busy moments. Visual cues act like gentle corrections for a wandering mind and increase the likelihood of following through. Practice a short, confident statement before starting work that is true and grounded. Use a phrase that acknowledges ability and responsibility, such as "I will do my best work on this now." Avoid inflated promises that breed pressure or negative self-talk that breeds doubt. Honest affirmation combined with clear goals equips the mind for steady action. Reserve a 5-minute checkpoint mid-morning to review progress against the morning visualization. Compare what has been accomplished to the target and decide whether to continue with the plan, adjust the depth of work, or shift to another priority. Regular short reviews keep the plan adaptive and prevent wasted effort on tasks that no longer matter. Cultivate the habit of ending visualizations with a small physical cue to mark transition into action. This could be standing up, stretching for 10 seconds, rinsing the face, or making a quick list in the planner. The physical cue signals the brain to move from preparation into execution and anchors the mental clarity into embodied motion. Make intention, setting a non-negotiable part of the morning routine, even on days that feel chaotic or when time is short. When the full practice is impossible, a condensed version still pays dividends. A 30-second clarity breath and a single sentence written in the phone preserve direction and prevent the day from dissolving into noise. Measure the impact of visualization by tracking completion rates for stated goals. Keep a simple log that records the target, the action taken, and whether the result was achieved. Patterns emerge that reveal whether visualizations are improving focus or if adjustments are needed in specificity or timing. Data keeps the practice honest and allows refinement. Use visualization to prime difficult conversations and decisions. Before a meeting, imagine listening fully, stating key points clearly, and closing with a constructive next step. Rehearsing the emotional tone and the likely responses reduces reactivity and increases purposeful influence. Prepared presence invites better outcomes. Guard against overplanning the morning only to postpone action. Visualization is a tool to guide movement, not a substitute for it. When the mind becomes enamored with perfect preparation, reduce the planning window and increase the initial work block. Execution strengthens clarity more reliably than endless refinement. Blend gratitude with goal setting to anchor motivation in meaning rather than obligation. A brief appreciation for progress achieved or for the resources available reduces resentment and fuels persistence. Gratitude clarifies the reason for work and makes discipline feel like a choice aligned with values. Use evening reflection to improve morning visualizations. Note which imagined scenarios predicted the day accurately and which ones missed reality. Adjust future rehearsals based on real feedback so the mental map becomes more realistic and therefore more useful. Iterative refinement makes visualization a skill that grows stronger through experience. When goals require collaboration, share concise outcomes with relevant partners early in the day. Communicating intentions creates alignment and reduces redundant work. Clear shared aims prevent confusion and increase the probability of cooperative success. Guard the early part of the day against reactive demands by using a simple script for deferring interruptions. A short phrase that politely notes current focus and offers a scheduled time to reconnect protects the work block and signals discipline to others. Maintaining this boundary contributes to long-term respect for priorities. Make visualization social when useful by discussion with a trusted colleague or friend for a minute each morning. Verbalizing the main aim aloud helps clarify reasoning and creates modest accountability. Speaking an intention to another person increases the mental commitment and provides a small external metric to uphold. Practice brief mental adjustments when plans shift unexpectedly. Rehearse how to pivot from the original visualization to a new priority without losing composure. Imagining graceful redirection reduces stress and preserves productivity even under constraint. Keep the visualization practice flexible to accommodate varying project scopes. A daily 30-minute goal may be sufficient some days, while larger initiatives will require stacking mornings into a multi-day plan. Use the morning clarity to determine which mode to adopt rather than rigidly applying the same target size every day. Cultivate patience with progress that unfolds slowly. Visualizing long-term outcomes helps sustain effort on days when immediate results are minor. When the mind regards small daily wins as parts of a larger arc, persistence becomes more natural and discouragement less likely. Incorporate purposeful breaks into the schedule that align with the visualization. Use short physical resets that reconnect the body to the mind and prevent cognitive drift. Intentional pauses reduce error rates and maintain higher quality over extended work periods. Use imagery that promotes calm focus rather than fueling anxiety. Avoid dramatized scenarios that exaggerate stakes and provoke stress responses. Choose mental pictures that emphasize competence, steady attention, and realistic timelines. Over time, a brief morning clarity practice rewires attention habits. The brain learns to prioritize internally set aims and to filter out competing signals more effectively. This neural habit becomes an asset that reduces decision friction and accelerates output. Treat visualization as preparation for responsibility rather than as a comfort ritual. The goal is not to feel momentarily inspired, but to shape daily behavior and create measurable movement toward meaningful outcomes. Responsibility aligned with clear intent converts intention into real progress. Remember that vision without action is empty, and action without vision is scattered. The deliberate combination of clear morning goals and disciplined follow-through produces both efficient work and deeper satisfaction. Practicing this alignment regularly changes how days stack into months and how months shape a life. Begin tomorrow morning with a clear, measurable result in mind. Rehearse the steps to reach it. Feel the work in your senses, and then start with a defined first step. Over weeks, the practice will reveal itself not as an extra chore, but as the engine that makes purposeful days possible and meaningful achievements inevitable. Chapter 70. Eliminate energy drains and protect your focus and momentum. Distractions are not merely interruptions, they are slow leaks in the tank of your energy, and each leak reduces the distance you will travel by the end of the day. Focus is not an abstract virtue, it is a resource that can be preserved, measured, and defended. Protecting momentum begins with identifying what consistently drains energy, and then designing straightforward defenses that stop the drain before it becomes a problem. Begin with a clear inventory of what steals attention from the work that matters. Track one full week and note moments when concentration collapses or mood drops. Record the triggers, not only the behaviors. A notification on the phone, a cluttered workspace, unclear expectations, or an unresolved interpersonal tension can all show up as the same symptom: lack of progress. Naming the specific source makes the solution concrete. Limit the number of decisions required in a day by simplifying routine choices. When numerous small choices accumulate, they consume mental bandwidth and increase susceptibility to distraction. Standardize meals, outfits, and simple workflows so that energy is preserved for high-value decisions. The less time spent on trivial choices, the more clarity available for meaningful action. Create physical zones that support single purposes. A dedicated work area, a separate place for rest, and a distinct setting for eating reduce the brain's need to switch modes. When environments are multi-use, the body and mind must constantly adjust, which raises cognitive cost. Use simple signals like a chair turned toward the desk or a particular lamp to cue performance. Control digital interruptions with rules, not hope. Turn off push notifications for non-essential apps, and set email checks at fixed intervals rather than allowing messages to dictate your focus. Use website blockers when deep work is required and close unrelated tabs. The difference between an available device and an unreachable device is often the difference between deep progress and scattered effort. Put a time budget on consumption of news and social media. These activities provide short-term stimulation while leaving concentration weaker afterward. Decide how long per day is acceptable and schedule it like any other task. Guard entertainment by placing it after priorities, not before them. Free time should restore energy, not sap it. Establish short rituals that reconnect attention quickly after an interruption. A simple 3-breath reset, a standing stretch, or a 20-second focus anchor, such as naming the next 3 actions, will shorten transition time and reduce momentum loss. These small rituals signal the mind that work resumes and that distraction is no longer welcome. Protect mornings as a high-value window for progress. The early hours are often when energy is cleanest and willpower is least depleted. Use that time for work that requires deep thought or courage. Leave casual tasks for later. When possible, create a buffer so that the morning is not immediately surrendered to meetings, requests, or urgent but low-value tasks. Fuel choices affect focus more than is commonly credited. Avoid heavy meals and large amounts of sugar before periods that demand concentration. Prefer balanced meals that sustain rather than spike then crash energy. Hydration is a fast performance multiplier. Keep water handy and drink before feeling thirsty to maintain steadiness of mind. Set clear start and stop signals for work sessions. Micro deadlines create urgency and prevent the drift that kills momentum. A focused block with a clear finish produces better results than an open-ended attempt to work. Use timers to make the boundary explicit and honor the end time so that recovery and reflection become part of the rhythm. Say no strategically and firmly to commitments that dilute energy. Declining an invitation or postponing a favor is not selfishness when doing so preserves the ability to deliver on important responsibilities. Practice short diplomatic phrases that defer decisions and protect your schedule without creating friction. Protect emotional energy by handling tense conversations with concise clarity and by setting limits on emotionally draining situations. When certain interactions consistently leave the mood low, consider adjusting exposure and seek resolution where possible. Emotional recovery is as real as physical rest and deserves equal care. Batch similar tasks to reduce context switching. Group phone calls administrative work and creative sessions into separate blocks so the brain is not forced to change gears repeatedly. Batching reduces wasted transition time and increases the efficiency of each block. Monitor the quality of your focus, not just its length. Long hours of shallow work are not the same as shorter hours of deep concentration. Measure output and adjust methods when long stretches produce little tangible progress. Decide what high-quality work looks like and design the environment that supports it. Eliminate energy drains that come from internal narratives. Negative rumination and chronic worry consume mental bandwidth. Address anxieties with short practical steps, such as making a list of next actions, delegating small problems, or scheduling a time later in the day to think through the issue. Turning vague worry into a defined plan releases energy immediately. Introduce buffered transitions between major tasks. A brief walk, a few stretches, or a short mindful breathing set between projects clear residual tension and prepare the mind for new challenges. These breaks act like reset buttons and prevent the tail of one task from polluting the start of the next. Use the power of visible progress to sustain momentum. Keep a simple visible tracker of completed tasks or milestones so the brain receives feedback that effort is producing results. Seeing evidence of forward movement reduces the temptation to chase novelty and reinforces steady effort. Manage the people factor intentionally. Be upfront about availability and collaborative norms. When others understand your work blocks and response windows, they will adjust expectations and interruptions decrease. Create agreed routines for communication that reduce surprise calls and unscheduled drop-ins. Guard attention with small environmental upgrades. Improve lighting, remove distracting reflections, clear excess clutter, and position frequently used items within reach. These adjustments are low cost and high impact because they reduce micro-friction repeatedly throughout the day. When unavoidable disruptions occur, have a short reboot routine ready to restore momentum quickly. A 5-minute checklist that includes posture correction, breathing, hydration, and a glance at the current priority can return focus in less time than ad hoc recovery attempts. Allow time for deliberate rest as a planned part of the day. Rest that is intentional and protected increases resilience. Schedule full breaks that are free from work and partial micro-rests that fit inside a tight schedule. Rest is not wasted time, it is an investment in future capacity. Keep energy reserves realistic by planning workload across cycles, not days. High-intensity periods require follow-up days of lower demand. Map projects to a tempo that allows recovery between spikes to avoid chronic depletion and maintain sustainable progress. Audit possessions and obligations that continuously siphon time and attention. Subscriptions, complicated tools, and repeated minor tasks add up invisibly. Cancel or simplify what provides little return and keep only what truly supports objectives. Train attention by practicing short exercises that build resistance to distraction. Periods of focused reading, meditation, or single-task practice strengthen the brain's ability to maintain attention over time. Like any muscle, focus grows with deliberate training. Accept that some drains cannot be removed entirely and manage exposure to them. When certain tasks or people are necessary, design clear buffers around them, such as recovery time afterward, or a delegation plan that reduces involvement. When energy drops unexpectedly, use immediate practical levers, such as standing up, moving briskly, hydrating, or stepping outside briefly for fresh air. Physical shifts exert a quick and reliable influence on mental state and are often faster than trying to reason through fatigue. Protect momentum by finishing the day with a concise review of what moved forward and what remains. A brief end-of-day note makes starting the next session easier and reduces the morning chaos that invites distraction. Continuity lessens the chance that effort will be lost between sessions. Treat the defense of attention as ongoing maintenance rather than a one-time problem. New drains will appear and old ones will reemerge if not managed. Regularly revisit the list of interruptions and update defenses as conditions change. Preserve creative energy by protecting time for undisturbed thought. Creativity requires a degree of solitude and uninterrupted focus that must be defended deliberately. Schedule creative work when cognitive resources are highest and minimize obligations around those blocks. Momentum compounds when effort is protected and small victories are accumulated. Each defended block of focused work builds a reserve of accomplishment that makes subsequent focus easier. Over time, the habit of safeguarding attention becomes one of the most reliable competitive advantages. Start by choosing one frequent drain to eliminate this week and implement a concrete barrier. Track the effect and iterate. Small tactical wins compound into broad improvements in performance, clarity, and satisfaction. Protecting focus is not about deprivation, it is about aligning daily life with priorities so energy is available for what truly matters. Intentionally reducing leaks preserves the capacity to produce meaningful work and to live with calm clarity. Chapter 8. Develop unwavering confidence through daily wins and honest self-feedback. Confidence grows from proof, not from promises, and the fastest way to accumulate proof is by designing a daily system that delivers small, reliable victories and then learning from each one with honest, clear feedback. Start with the simple agreement to finish one clear task every day that matters to your goals. Keep that task specific, measurable, and realistic so that completion is unambiguous. Crossing off this item becomes evidence that you followed through, and that evidence builds trust in yourself. Break goals into micro wins that can be completed in under an hour. Short successes reduce friction and avoid the trap of waiting for big moments to validate effort. When a project is large, divide it into bite-sized steps and treat the completion of each step as progress worthy of recognition. Over time, these small finishes stack into momentum that feels solid and trustworthy. Make a daily win list where the first column records what you intended to do and the second column notes what was actually completed. Keep entries brief and factual. Use this list not to punish but to create an accurate record of capability. When intention and action align repeatedly, you will begin to feel a natural increase in confidence grounded in performance. Develop a weekly feedback ritual that examines results with 3 focused questions. What worked? What did not work? What will be changed next week? Answer each question with a single sentence and then plan one concrete adjustment. This format avoids endless rumination and turns observation into a practical iteration cycle. Honest answers will reveal patterns more reliably than hopeful explanations. Seek external perspective wisely. Ask one trusted person to review a piece of your work and request specific critique rather than general praise. Supply precise questions such as which part was unclear or which step slowed progress. External critique delivers information you cannot reliably obtain from your own blind spots, and it becomes a resource for targeted improvement. Practice public micro-commitments to raise the stakes in a controlled way. Announce a small deliverable to a friend or a group, and then complete it on time. Accountability to others increases the cost of failing and thereby sharpens effort. Choose low-risk promises that matter enough to motivate, but not enough to create unbearable pressure. Record short video or audio clips of yourself performing tasks that matter, such as explaining an idea, presenting a concept, or practicing a pitch. Review these recordings for observable improvements in clarity, tone, and confidence. Seeing incremental gains on tape is a powerful reality check, and it replaces vague self-doubt with concrete evidence of development. Use metrics that matter to your goals and track them consistently. If your aim is to write more, measure words produced per day. If your aim is to strengthen endurance, record minutes of continuous activity. Numbers convert fuzzy progress into tangible trends, and trends are far more persuasive to the mind than isolated feelings. When you review metrics weekly, focus on direction, not absolute values. Create a short, honest feedback script you can use with yourself at the end of the day. State one fact about what you achieved, one insight about why it happened, and one next action to improve. Keep the language neutral and objective. Refrain from moralizing statements about worth and instead focus on behaviors and outcomes. This shifts attention from identity threats to constructive changes. Practice calibrated praise. When you notice progress, acknowledge it specifically instead of using vague congratulations. Say exactly what improved and why that matters. Specific recognition reinforces the behaviors that produced the win and helps your brain associate the right actions with positive outcomes. Intentionally face small fears regularly to expand your competence boundary. Choose manageable challenges that trigger nervousness but are safely achievable, such as starting a short conversation with a new person, delivering a brief presentation, or applying for a role that stretches your skills slightly. Repeated exposure to manageable stress reduces avoidance and replaces fear with experience. Adopt a mindset of deliberate practice rather than passive repetition. Identify the component of the skill that limits performance most and design exercises that isolate that component. Practice with full attention, then intentionally increase difficulty once accuracy is consistent. This targeted work produces faster improvement and creates more frequent wins, which in turn builds confidence faster. Cultivate precise self-talk. Replace vague affirmations with statements of intention and capability grounded in recent evidence. Instead of declaring a broad trait, use brief reminders tied to action, such as "I completed 3 focused blocks last week, and I will do 1 now." Concrete statements are harder to dismiss mentally, and they link identity to real behavior. Schedule regular reflection on setbacks with an emphasis on extracting lessons rather than lamenting loss. Write down what happened, what decision contributed to it, and what practical step will reduce the chance of repetition. Accept responsibility for adjustable factors and release what lay outside control. This disciplined approach to failure transforms losses into training data. Maintain humility while increasing confidence. Confidence rooted in achievement should not translate into arrogance. Use visible progress to fuel curiosity about further improvement rather than to justify complacency. Ask better questions and test new assumptions continually. When confidence becomes a reason to stop learning, it ceases to be useful. Protect your baseline energy because confidence is fragile when fatigue and stress dominate. Prioritize sleep, moderate movement, and nourishment to ensure that daily wins are not undermined by poor physical condition. When the body is managed well, the mind executes with more precision, and the evidence of success accumulates more reliably. Build a culture of honest feedback within your immediate circle. Encourage direct observations from colleagues, friends, or family, and respond with gratitude and without defensiveness. Model how to accept critique by reflecting briefly on one action you will take to incorporate the advice. This behavior trains others to be candid and supplies you with continuous improvement data. Use brief performance rituals before tasks that matter to prime confidence. A 2-minute preparation that includes posture correction, breathing, and a quick review of the first concrete step reduces anxiety and signals the brain that a professional mode has begun. Rituals are not superstition when they reliably produce a calmer, more focused state. Keep a visible archive of past achievements in a single folder or notebook. Include short notes about why each success mattered and how it was accomplished. When doubt appears, revisit this archive to remind yourself that competence exists and has been demonstrated before. Tangible memory of past wins counters the false narrative that ability is absent. Practice saying no to perfection when it prevents forward progress. Good work finished consistently is better training for confidence than occasional perfect outcomes. Ship early and refine incrementally. Each completed iteration provides feedback and experience that perfect planning cannot replicate. Pair honest self-feedback with celebration rituals that acknowledge effort, not just outcome. A short moment of recognition after completing a task signals to the brain that effort is valued, and it increases the likelihood of repeating the behavior. Keep celebrations simple and proportionate so they reinforce without distracting from next steps. Test beliefs about limits by running constrained experiments. If a belief states that a task requires 10 hours, test whether 4 focused hours produce a usable result. Data from controlled experiments often disconfirms limiting assumptions and broadens the range of what you expect from yourself. Practice transparent goal setting with measurable checkpoints and share them with someone who will hold you to them. External timelines combined with internal commitment create a double layer of accountability that increases completion rates. Be specific about what completion looks like and by when it will be delivered. Protect your mental narrative from catastrophic interpretations. When a mistake occurs, reframe it as narrow, specific, and improvable. This language reduces emotional intensity and keeps the feedback process practical. Avoid statements that generalize failure into personal identity. Train the voice of encouragement within yourself by narrating progress in factual terms during moments of doubt. State briefly what was done today, what evidence supports improvement, and what the next small step is. This self-coaching habit uses logic to counter spirals of discouragement. Incorporate periodic public demonstrations of skill in safe environments, such as meetups, workshops, or peer review sessions. Public practice accelerates learning and grants external validation that is useful for recalibrating internal estimates of competence. Commit to patience because confidence grown from repeated wins is durable, but it forms slowly. Values like steadiness and consistency compound over months and years. Avoid the urge to seek instant transformation and instead commit to reliable processes that deliver incremental proof. Finally, hold yourself accountable for the honesty of your feedback. If recordings show gaps, address them directly. If metrics decline, own the adjustment and act. Confidence built on a foundation of truth withstands external pressure and sustains long-term growth. Chapter 9E. Choose consistent learning habits that sharpen skills and expand opportunities. Decide today that every hour you invest in learning will multiply your future options. Learning is not a hobby, it is a strategic habit that increases capability and widens opportunity when practiced deliberately and regularly. Treat study like work rather than entertainment by setting clear outcomes for each session. Before opening a book or starting a course, decide what specific skill you want to sharpen and how you will demonstrate improvement afterward. Replace vague intentions, such as "I will read more," with concrete commitments, like "I will summarize 3 key ideas," and apply one to a real problem. This single change converts passive consumption into active growth. Structure learning around projects, not just content. Choose a project that forces you to use the new skill in a meaningful way, such as building a small app, writing a short article, recording a video lesson, or conducting an experiment. Projects create deadlines, immediate feedback, and visible results, which accelerate development faster than endless theory. Break each project into weekly milestones and assign at least one measurable deliverable for every milestone so progress becomes undeniable. Adopt short, focused sessions rather than marathon study sprints. Work in concentrated intervals of intense attention, followed by brief recovery breaks. Use a timer to enforce these blocks and protect them from distraction. During each block, practice active techniques, such as recalling what you learned without looking at notes, solving a problem from memory, or explaining the concept out loud. Active methods force your brain to retrieve and apply information, which strengthens long-term retention more effectively than passive rereading. Use the principle of progressive difficulty. Start with simpler versions of the skill and then increase complexity as accuracy improves. If practicing communication, begin with 2-minute explanations, then expand to longer presentations. If learning code, write small programs, then add features incrementally. Deliberate increases in challenge create a trajectory of competence and prevent plateaus that come from repeating tasks at the same level. Make note-taking work for you by converting information into your own words and linking it to actions. After each study session, produce a one-paragraph summary that captures the essence and one sentence that states how you will use the idea within 48 hours. Store those summaries in a single searchable place and review them weekly. The act of rewriting content in personal language converts it from external noise into internal tools you can access on demand. Practice retrieval by testing yourself frequently. Create short quizzes, flashcards, or a list of questions you must answer from memory. Scheduled self-testing identifies gaps quickly and reduces the illusion of learning created by familiarity. Prioritize retrieval practice over passive review, especially when preparing for real-world application. Teach what you are learning to someone else, even if that person is imaginary. Explaining a concept simply exposes weaknesses in your understanding and forces clarification. Use the Feynman approach by describing the idea as if speaking to a curious beginner, then refine your explanation until it is both accurate and straightforward. Teaching sessions double as rehearsal and create material you can reuse as notes or micro-lessons. Rotate learning mediums to deepen comprehension and to prevent boredom. Combine reading with audio lectures, practical exercises, problem-solving, and live discussion. Each format emphasizes different neural pathways and improves overall mastery. When a concept resists understanding, switch mediums. Rather than pushing harder in the same mode, a different perspective often unlocks clarity. Design short feedback loops to measure improvement quickly. Collect objective indicators, such as minutes of uninterrupted practice, words, written problems solved, or speed of task completion. Review these metrics weekly and make one targeted adjustment to practice structure. Small iterative changes compound faster than large overhauls that are difficult to sustain. Apply spaced repetition for facts and core principles you must retain. Revisit material at increasing intervals so the brain strengthens recall over time. Use simple tools or a calendar system to schedule revisits rather than relying on memory to remind you. Spacing prevents cramming and converts short-term exposure into durable knowledge. Emphasize quality over quantity by reducing time wasted on low-value sources. Choose 2 or 3 trusted books, courses, or mentors for each learning goal and commit to them fully rather than sampling widely without depth. Depth produces transferable skill and reveals subtleties that superficial exposure cannot capture. Set aside a fixed daily learning window and defend it as you would a professional appointment. Treat that block with the same respect you would give a client meeting or financial obligation. Repeatedly protecting the same hour creates momentum and trains your environment to expect your presence. Use micro-experiments to test what learning methods work best for you. Try a 2-week sprint of morning practice versus evening practice and compare results. Test whether handwritten notes or typed summaries yield better recall and use the outcome to refine your routine. Personal data informs strategy far more reliably than generic advice. Curate a feedback circle that includes peers, mentors, and critics who will give honest evaluations of your work. Ask for specific feedback, such as one thing to keep and one thing to change. Accept criticism as data and convert it into an action plan. External input speeds improvement and prevents the blind spots that solitary practice creates. Build a visible portfolio of work that documents progress. Save code snippets, summaries, projects, recordings, and before-after samples. A growing portfolio provides proof of competence and opens doors when opportunities appear. Public evidence is a practical way to transform private effort into visible credibility. Limit multitasking and protect single-task focus during learning. When attempting to absorb complex material, shut off unrelated notifications, close extra tabs, and create a temporary environment optimized for concentration. The brain pays a heavy price when forced to switch contexts, and focused attention yields exponentially better comprehension. Incorporate deliberate reflection into each week. Spend 10 minutes reviewing what learning produced noticeable change, what felt unclear, and which strategies yielded the best returns. Reflection is how practice becomes smarter practice. Use these insights to prune ineffective methods and to reinforce routines that deliver the highest value. Pair learning with immediate application whenever possible. Use new vocabulary in a conversation, draft a short plan using a new framework, or apply a technique to a real problem within days of learning it. Immediate application cements concepts and reveals practical limits that theory alone cannot show. Schedule recovery and mental rest as part of a sustainable learning plan. Growth requires consolidation, and consolidation happens during restful states. Respect sleep and include low-intensity activities such as walking or light tasks after heavy study to allow neural integration. Overtraining your focus reduces returns. Thoughtful rest increases them. Seek projects that create external deadlines and real stakes. Volunteer to help on a community project, present at a meetup, or publish a short article. External accountability catalyzes performance and converts learning into outcomes that matter to others. Learn to ask better questions. Replace broad inquiries with precise ones that guide your search and practice. Instead of asking, "How do I get better at leadership?" ask, "Which leadership skill will most improve team results this quarter, and what 3 actions will exercise that skill?" Better questions produce clearer paths forward. Invest in a few high-quality resources such as a well-structured textbook, a reputable course, or a coach who can point out subtle errors early. Cheap or poorly structured information wastes time. A sensible investment in learning architecture often shortens the path to competence. Cultivate intellectual humility and curiosity. Recognize how little you know in relation to how much there is to learn, and let that awareness fuel steady, disciplined practice rather than paralysis. Curiosity keeps the process enjoyable, which increases the likelihood of persistence. Finally, commit to consistency rather than intensity as the guiding principle of your learning life. Daily repeated effort creates the compound interest of skill development and positions you to seize opportunities when they appear. Keep the practice simple, track progress, adjust regularly, and aim to improve a little each week. Over months and years, those incremental gains will assemble into clear capability and expanded choices that change the trajectory of your life. Chapter 1. Celebrate progress nightly to reinforce growth, focus, and future momentum. Tonight is not about what you failed to finish, but about what you moved closer to completion, because growth is built through accumulation rather than perfection. End your day with a deliberate moment of recognition where you acknowledge effort, improvement, and forward motion regardless of how small the step may appear. This practice trains the mind to associate discipline with reward and reinforces the desire to continue tomorrow. Begin the evening reflection by reviewing 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? What progress was made toward my main goal? What lesson did I learn that will help me improve tomorrow? Answer these questions honestly without exaggeration or self-criticism that serves no practical purpose. Keep the language factual and respectful toward your effort. Write one achievement from the day, even if it feels minor. It may be finishing a task, sending an important message, practicing a skill, or resisting a distraction that would have wasted time. Recording small victories strengthens identity because the brain tends to remember what is written and revisited. Do not wait for grand success before acknowledging progress. Look back at your morning intention and compare it with the actions taken. If your plan and behavior aligned even partially, give yourself credit for maintaining direction. If deviation occurred, treat it as information rather than failure. Adjustment is more valuable than emotional punishment because punishment reduces motivation while learning increases it. Spend 1 quiet minute expressing gratitude for your ability to act today. You do not need complex spiritual language. Simply recognize that you were given time, energy, and opportunity to move forward. Gratitude shifts attention away from frustration and places it on capacity and possibility. This mental shift supports long-term persistence. Avoid reviewing mistakes in a harsh emotional manner during nighttime reflection. Instead, describe any error using neutral language, such as "I chose this action and it produced this result." Then add 1 improvement idea that will be applied next time. This method protects confidence while still encouraging responsible learning. Create a nightly closure ritual that signals the brain that work is finished. This could be organizing the workspace, writing tomorrow's priority in 1 sentence, or preparing materials for the next day. Closure rituals reduce cognitive noise because the mind feels that pending tasks are under control. Celebrate consistency more than outcome. If you followed your process today, give yourself recognition even if external results were not visible. Consistency is the foundation of future performance. When you celebrate discipline, you train your motivation system to value behavior that supports long-term success. Keep celebrations simple and proportional. Do not rely on excessive stimulation such as late-night entertainment or activities that weaken sleep quality. Choose rewards that restore energy, such as listening to calm music, reading something pleasant, or enjoying quiet time with family. The purpose of celebration is reinforcement, not exhaustion. Review your energy level during the day and note what supported or reduced it. Write one sentence identifying the best time of your day for focus and one sentence describing what drained attention. Use this information to refine tomorrow's schedule. Self-knowledge is the raw material of continuous improvement. Picture your future self benefiting from today's effort. Imagine the skills, knowledge, or stability that your current actions are building. Do this visualization quietly for 30 seconds. This practice links present discipline with future reward and strengthens persistence during difficult periods. End the day by reaffirming your commitment to progress rather than perfection. Speak internally or quietly say, "I moved forward today and I will move forward again tomorrow." This statement should be grounded in reality, not inflated confidence. Honest optimism produces stronger motivation than unrealistic expectations. Place a small physical symbol of progress somewhere visible, such as a check mark in a notebook or a mark on a calendar. Visual symbols help the brain perceive continuity of effort. When the chain of completed days becomes visible, you will naturally want to protect it. Release the pressure of unfinished work after planning the next step. Know that tomorrow will provide another opportunity to continue. Do not carry unresolved tasks emotionally into sleep. Write them down if necessary and trust that the structure you built will guide future action. Practice a short breathing cycle before sleeping to calm the nervous system. Inhale slowly, hold briefly, and exhale longer than the inhale. Repeat several times while allowing the body to relax. Calm physiology improves sleep quality and supports recovery. Maintain humility during success. When progress appears, do not assume that effort alone guarantees future results. Continue learning, improving, and refining your methods. Confidence must be balanced with awareness that growth is ongoing and never complete. If the day was difficult, celebrate survival and persistence as achievements. Some days winning means continuing despite fatigue, disappointment, or uncertainty. Persistence itself is a victory because it preserves the path toward future success. Protect your sleep as part of the celebration system because recovery is the foundation of tomorrow's performance. Turn off screens, prepare a comfortable resting environment, and allow your mind to transition gently from activity to rest. Allow yourself to feel satisfaction without guilt when you have followed your discipline. Discipline does not mean denying human enjoyment. It means choosing enjoyment that does not destroy the structure that supports your goals. Think of nightly celebration as closing the feedback loop of your day. You acted, you reflected, you learned, and now you reinforce the positive pattern. This loop tells your brain that disciplined living produces emotional and practical reward. Understand that progress is built by repeating this cycle every day. Work in the morning with clarity, protect focus during the day, learn and adjust when necessary, and close the evening with honest appreciation of effort. This rhythm transforms life into a structured journey rather than a chaotic reaction to circumstances. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but it will also bring new opportunities to practice the system you are building. Continue repeating the process of intention, action, feedback, and celebration. Over time, the accumulation of disciplined days will shape your character, your skills, and your future direction. End each night with a quiet recognition that you are moving closer to the person you are choosing to become. Progress may feel slow, but it is real because it is measured in behavior, not in emotion. Celebrate that movement because it is the foundation of your victory.